Now that I played through the Indigo Disk's main campaign and watched the Mochi Mayhem epilogue before the Nintendo snipers took it down, I have this to say. Terapagos is a problem, but it is not the only time I feel like this exact problem has come up. Eternatus doesn't exactly have much lore to back it up other than what is needed to prop up Zacian and Zamazenta. Terapagos isn't even afforded the luxury of propping up Zacian and Zamazenta or any other legendary. It's just, oh, Heath wasn't an insane person, and this is the source of a terrestrial phenomenon, and this is what the professor was working on, and bleh. Look, you could say Terapagos was there to prop up Kieran's redemption, but here's my theory on the Terapagos situation. Terapagos was not meant to be in this DLC. Maybe Blueberry Academy and Indigo Disk were meant to be two separate DLCs, each with their own 3-hour campaign. Structurally, it just feels like two storylines were spliced together into one, and it did neither any justice. The Blueberry League portion of this campaign focuses primarily on Kieran and his antagonistic relationship to just about everyone. His own Elite Four are either worried for his sanity like Amaris, or find that he sucks out all fun out of the club like Crispin says. And one of them goes so far as to just simply ask you, the main character, to dethrone Kieran and put an end to his mania. And we have a pretty good idea of what kind of person Kieran is implied to have become in the Teal Mask. We see Kieran act like a complete and utter jerk. However, I personally would have liked to know what the League Club was actually like before his reign of terror. Outside of a dialogue and like a handful of scenes where Kieran is being a jerk, we don't see how miserable he's making everyone. Sure, we are told this through the dialogue, but this is where showing a few scenes rather than just telling us would have been actually useful. Crispin says the League Club feels more frustrating, to which I say, can we see what and how Drayton ran his League Club since he was the champion prior to this? There's also some weird dialogue choices. I know this could be a localization issue, but everyone acts like Drayton is some kind of master manipulator when he has been nothing more than straightforward in his approach to just about everything. I honestly feel like these lines where we're calling him a manipulator are just from an earlier version of the script. Then there's a conflict where the League Club is in flux because essentially someone who is not enrolled has taken the mantle of champion. Remember, you are an exchange student, not an actual student at this institution, so you are basically an outsider walking in and just claiming the role of champion. I know Drayton says that the whole League Club is in flux and Drayton is prone to talking out of his toothpaste hair whenever he doesn't want to do work, but at the same time, we see Crispin bring up this issue, and we also see Lacey and Amaris affirm it. And after we spend like 2 hours just beating Kieran and doing the Elite Four trials, we spend an hour in the caves of Area Zero doing basically dungeon crawling until we get to Terapagos, who has the most bare bone plots ever. And towards the climax of the Terapagos section, Kieran goes on a motive rant about how he's so envious of the player character for being strong, going wherever they want, and being friends with everyone. Except there are not three characters in this scene. If this is just between Carmine, the player character, and Kieran, this would be fine. But Briar is right off to Kieran's side, and she's just ignoring the screaming teenager. Yes, I know the whole game portrays her as obsessed with the terrestrial phenomena and Terapagos and Area Zero. It just seems very weird that Kieran's monologue would just go over her head. So it leads me to believe that this was actually from a completely different draft of the Climax, where Indigo Disk and the Blueberry Academy were just separate DLCs, and that Kieran is giving this monologue towards the climax of his own story. I feel like Game Freak is prioritizing character and character interactions over giving us satisfying answers to the mysteries and lore they set up, possibly because they don't believe they can give satisfying answers to these questions, or maybe they're just mistaking mystery for substance. But those are just my thoughts on the matter. If you have any of your own, please share them in the comments section below. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.